So, there's conversations that we remember for forever. We remember these conversations for 30 years later. And the reason why we remember these conversations is actually not because of anything we said. It's actually because of things we did not say. Okay? And these are the things that really haunt us for forever. The things that we like in retrospect, I really wanted to when I had the opportunity, and why didn't I do that? And there's I actually knew somebody that this is a little bit intense story, but he told me that the sentence that he has the most regret about his entire life is that he would always tell himself that I wanted to call. I was gonna call, and it was this story that he had this riff with somebody, and they got into a fight, and he really wanted to make up with him, and he was always waiting for the right opportunity, and time passed, and in the morning he would say that, okay, I'll do it in the afternoon. In the afternoon he would say, okay, I'll do it tomorrow, I'm busy, and meanwhile the guy actually died, and then he realized, I could have had this conversation so many times, and I pushed it off for absolutely no reason. And this is the regret of his life, is that he pushed something off. And I think that in general, that most of our regrets, most of our mistakes are not big averas, are not sins that we do, horrible actions that we do. Most of our mistakes in life are actually the regrets of not doing, okay? About pushing off opportunities. And this is like the Yetzer Hara of later, the Yetzer Hara of that soon, and this is what I want to speak about tonight. The midah, it's a popular midah. It's called zrizut. Okay, zrizut means literally it means doing things with alacrity, but it's really much deeper than that. The zrizut is it's a general sense of being. It's a real sense of consciousness that I would say, if I'd want to translate what it means, rizut, so it's really not about how quickly you are with doing something, but it's for a general readiness and eagerness of the soul to do the right thing without hesitation and without resistance. That's really what rizut is all about. And so it's a famous midah because it has a very prominent place in a very popular sefer called Mesilat Yesharim, which is a sefer which is very, very dear to my heart, and it's my of all the Mesilat Yesharim, it's actually the only one that I really, really connect with, and I have good memories of in yeshiva like over and over again, and this is the second midah. He writes this book as a how-to guide to achieve prophecy. So, how could you say no? This is literally, he writes this book that if you follow my advice, then you'll be able to reach the divine inspiration. Which, truth is that he doesn't talk about this, but after that divine inspiration, then he says, then you can have the power of Tchias HaMesim. But that's based on the Gemara. But he says that if you follow my path, this is the ladder that will bring you to divine inspiration, to Ruach HaKodesh. And so the first rung of the ladder is something what he calls zehirut. And zehirut means to be careful, to be aware of everything you're doing in life, and to not just be an autopilot and to take calculations. This is actually extremely relevant. This is exactly what we spoke about last Wednesday, that in the class in Rabbi Nachman's, we were talking about the idea of cheshbon nefesh, the idea of taking an accounting, of just taking charge of your life, literally making sure that we're not just going in autopilot, that we're figuring out, we're asking ourselves what would I rather do tomorrow better? How could I change things? How could I improve? And that's really what Zehirut is all about. And he says that after Zehirut comes Rizut. And he explains that really if a person that doesn't really care about their life, so they're never going to ask themselves the questions of Zehirut. Because if you just don't care, then you just don't care. Then you're a goner. So really the first step is really to care. The first step is to ask myself, is my life the way that I would like it to be? And after I decided that I would like something to move, I would like something to shift in my life. So then I can say that, yeah, it would really be nice if I would be more excited about life. It would really be nice if I would stop procrastinating, if I would really just finally have the guts to make that decision, to really just to take that step. And so Zrizut is a very basic midah, and he writes that this is all of the do's of Judaism is really summarized in this midah of Zrizut. He says that like Zehirut in a certain sense. Wow! Oh my gosh, it's been way too long. Welcome, shalom. So he says that all of the don'ts of Judaism can really be summarized in Zehirut, and all the do's of Judaism can really be summarized with Zrizut. That like there's something about Zehirut is like I want to make sure that I'm not doing stupid things, and it's not enough not to do stupid things. Like you also have to do stuff. So like it's not exactly the same thing, but like I was telling something like just Mamish on Friday that. He's a person who's very into meditation and very into mindfulness. And so I was telling him that, what the biggest difference is between Buddhism and Judaism? That in Buddhism, so what is the goal? What is the thing that to peace, inner peace, to escape suffering, right? To escape suffering through nirvana, through enlightenment, and so Judaism, we say that that's a good start. Suffering is not good, but now that you're not suffering, so maybe do something with your life. There's a lot of people that are starving. There's a lot of people there's so many tears to dry. There's so much to do. Like it's very nice that you have escaped your suffering because you have reached enlightenment. But maybe open an orphanage, maybe go in a hospital, maybe and that's really what Judaism is all about. It's about doing something. It's like the tikkun olam, like not in the. You're messing with my brain. But literally, really to fix the world in the best way. Like this is what Adam HaRishon was here to la'avda l'shamra, to make the world into a better place, to fill the world with kedusha, and so all of the doing, all of exactly what our mission is in life is really summarized with Zrizut. This is all. It's like Zrizut is that to have the state of mind that I want to fill the world with goodness. Like this. So it's the most basic character trait in life in general. Like it's literally like this is just to invest in Zrizut is literally to invest in life. I want to live life to the fullest. The only way to live life to the fullest is if I'm going to invest in Zrizut. So he writes, the Mesilas Yesharim writes that there's two elements of Zrizut. One is before an opportunity comes, and one after the opportunity comes. Okay, meaning that the first element is that we have missed opportunities. That when something comes along, so do it. Don't let it pass. Don't stay in bed. Don't miss your interview. And the second one is that once you started, then you have a certain tendency to just okay, it wasn't as exciting. Somebody else can do it. I can finish it later. It's like I could just leave it the way it is. Maybe some other lifetime. And so that the first element is to start, and the second element is to continue. Is to have that resilience that I'm not going to let things to stop me. Okay. So let's take things let's go step by step. So first of all, this element of taking opportunities without hesitation, just to go. So this is something that we learn from Avraham Avinu. It's a very basic thing that we learned this from Avraham. It says Vayashkim Avraham B'Vayker, that by Kedas Yitzchak, that when Hashem commands him to bring his son as a sacrifice, so it says Vayashkim Avraham B'Vayker, that he got up early, that he did it with excitement, that he wasn't doing it with heaviness, he wasn't doing it with hesitation, and he was excited about it. And the Gemara says that we learned from this pasuk that Avraham was a master of shachris. Shacharis is the hardest davening because to do Shacharis you have to wake up. It's really like I once heard this is it's a very very smart thing. One of my band once said that like some people have like this like I have to work on my davening, and the problem is that the reason why you have to work on the davening is because they wake up at 11 in the morning, and so he said maybe if you want to work on your davening, start with Ma'ariv. Start davening because people think I have to work on my davening. So of course that means I have to work on Shacharis, and Shacharis is more complicated because before you work on davening Shacharis, you have to work on getting up in the morning, and that's actually much more difficult to work on getting up in the morning than it is to work on davening. So it's a beautiful thing that you want to work on davening. So do it when you can focus on your davening and you don't have to this other hurdle that you have to overcome, which is really much more difficult. So we learn from this. Avraham was the king of Shacharis. He instituted Shacharis. We learn from this that this is tefillah. So he was a person that he was how do you say that? An owl? No, the opposite.
Early bird.
Early bird. What? So he was the OG early bird, and he was that was his thing, that he was mamish excited in the morning to get up. And so he's like the Torah puts this on a pedestal, that this is something that we're trying to emulate, like being able to just do things early, doing things with excitement. Now, you don't have to wake up so early. I remember when I was in yeshiva, I heard this, and it was so validating to me that you've heard of the Stipler. His name was Rabbi Yaakov Kanievsky. He was the Reb Chaim Kanievsky's father. He was the Gadol Hador in his time. He was much greater than Reb Chaim Kanievsky. He was very open Ruach HaKodesh and a very very amazing human being. And so he was a student of the Chazon Ish. He was also cousins with brother-in-law with the Chazon Ish. And so as long as the Chazon Ish was alive, so he would daven with the Chazon Ish because he wanted to be with the Chazon Ish. So the Chazon Ish would daven at sunrise. So he would do that. As soon as the Chazon Ish passed away, so he did away with that. He started davening at 8 in the morning, because that was more his thing. That was more his timeline, and it was very validating to me. You don't have to be. There's a way to be an amazing Jew. You can have Ruach HaKodesh without waking up at 4 in the morning. So I had a personal I read stories that how awesome it is to daven at Nates, and all the malachim are there, and I had a how do you say a period, a phase in my life that I was into davening Nates, and it lasted for a year and a half, and so it was very tiring, and but I told myself, next week you'll of course it's hard at the beginning, but your body's going to get used to it, and then once your body gets used to it, so then it'll be easy, and so I said, okay, just tough it out for one more week, and then you'll get used to it, and I told myself just one more week for a year and a half, and what's funny was what stopped me. I was exhausted the whole day, and what actually broke me was that it was a Shabbos morning that I woke up late. I davened at the regular minyan, and it was such an awesome davening. I said, "Hey, that's not fair. I woke up late and I had an awesome davening." So that's what. So I realized that okay, so other people can daven Nates, and that's not what Hashem had in mind for me. And so it's nice to be excited in the morning, but the main thing is to be excited whenever you get up. So be excited then. Your Nates. It's my Rebbe once told me that there was this Hasidic guy that he would say I daven Nates. Nates is it's an acronym for 9 10. It's in Yiddish, so 10 is 10. So anyway, so whenever you're getting up, so it doesn't matter when. It's it's how, and the reason this is all about having excitement in life, and it's through this excitement in life that this really makes or breaks the quality of everything that we do. So let's try to understand. Let's try to understand the reasons why people miss opportunities. Okay, so the first part of Jesus, the Mesilas Yesharim writes that the first element of Jesus is that a person is just going to just live, to just give up opportunities and not start. So he writes, what is the biggest thing that leads a person to miss opportunities? So the most simple thing that leads a person to miss opportunities is simply that he likes resting. That whatever the thing is that you want to do, whatever the mitzvah, the opportunity is, so it comes with a price that you have to stop what you're doing. And some people, they just love what they're doing. Because what they're doing is that they're lying in bed. And they just love lying in bed. And it's just the most awesome feeling in life to do absolutely nothing. Okay? And so this is actually I think we all deal with this on a certain level, but on the other hand, we all know that this is really not like a way of life. And so this is what's called in Hebrew atzlut. Okay, when we talk about the midah of atzlut, there's two parts. There's two parts of Jesus. Jesus is one element of Jesus is to go against what's called atzlut, which is laziness, which is just the love of doing nothing, and then there's another part of zrizut which is going against a different midah, and that is what's called hitraput. Hitraput means that you're. It's not that you want to do nothing. You want to do everything. You want to do the right thing. It's just that it's hard for you. It's just that you don't have the energy to do it. Okay, it's two different midas, and it's important to recognize that it's two different hurdles, two different issues that we have to overcome. So let's separate them. So first of all, we all have this issue of just atzlut, of simply that we enjoy doing nothing, despite the fact that it's very, very destructive. And there's a pasuk the pasuk in Eov that says that Adam la'amal yulad, that a person was created to toil, to do stuff. And that's something we feel intuitively when we do nothing. So if we're healthy, then we feel horrible when we do nothing. Okay? And this is why I don't know, if I'm allowed to say this in Nachlaot, but this is my thing against weed. This is my I've been once in a month it's okay, but like to be a stoner is actually it's the biggest enemy of existence, because to be a stoner is that you when you're high you can just stare into space for 6 hours straight, and without any guilt, without yeah.
Why do you bring all these snacks?
And no, for the sugar rush. The sugar rush is great. That's the opposite. So, but a person. Oh, you thought that potato chips were edibles? So, no, I think that's the cookies. So she'll take some cookies. Thank you. So a person that's a stoner, so the mamish, it takes away this natural thing that Hashem created us with, called being ambitious, and this is such a natural thing to be ambitious. It's the most important thing that we have, because it's what allows us, it's what drives us to do stuff with our life. And it's this beautiful feeling that when we do nothing, that we feel bad. Imagine what it would be if we didn't feel bad when we did nothing. Then we would just do nothing, and then we would die, and then we would. I remember when I was in high school, I had this roommate, and I don't know why he told me this, but I was speaking to one of the rebbeim in yeshiva, and I mentioned this friend of mine. He says, "Oh yeah, it's a lazy bum." A lazy bum with a good cup. That's what he said, and there was that's a bum. I don't know if it's still a term, but that's there's a term a lazy bum is a guy that just does nothing with their life, and so if there's a natural disgust to being a lazy bum, okay, and so this is regarding this is one of my favorite Vaytaras in the world, that I could have mentioned that here before, that in the Jewish calendar, so the first comes the night and then comes the day. Right? It says Vayeher Vayevoker. So by the non-Jewish calendar, so it says it's first the day and then the night. And so we learned this from Noach, that it says after the flood. So it says that Hashem promises that from now on there's not going to be, I'm not going to do any more flood, and that there's going to be regular there's going to be all the seasons, and v'yom v'layla la yishbatu. It says that there's always going to be all the seasons. There's always going to be the seasons are never going to stop. So it says yom v'layla la yishbatu, the first day and the night. So what's the difference between a Jew and a non-Jew? Why is it? How come by the Jewish calendar? So first comes the day, and first comes the night, then comes the day, and then by non-Jew, so first comes the day, and then comes the night. So I once heard a beautiful thing that what do we do during the day? We do stuff. What do we do during the night? We rest. Okay, so that's the difference. That a Jew rests in order to do, and a non-Jew, he does in order to rest. So if you ask a non-Jew, I don't mean non-Jew per se. I mean like a secular perspective, in a secular mentality. So what is your goal? Your goal is retirement. Your goal is vacation. Like I want to work hard so that I can that I can go on vacation. I want to work hard so I can go to retirement, and then I'm going to live the life I want to live. And all of the work is really just a means to do nothing. Okay, really, I'm at my sweet spot. What?
Working for the weekend.
Working for weekends, yeah. And so I'm at my sweet spot when I'm doing absolutely nothing. Okay? And so that is the mindset of a secular person, and the mindset of a Jew is that I'm here for a mission. Like I was here to do something. And I'm excited about my mission. Like I'm excited that I mean something. I'm excited that the world actually needs me for something. That there's some expectation from me, and that is what gives me my excitement in life. And that's this is something that Viktor Frankl talked about. That this is that he really discovered that the greatest motivation in the human psyche is to do something, is to find meaning, and our meaning is our mission. And so to connect with our mission is to connect with our meaning. And if you really want to have a satisfying life, so don't look for just pleasure, but look for meaning. And this was a revolution that he made. A revolution that he made like from before him. So the main school of thought in psychology was that of Freud. That Freud believed that the main motivation in the human psyche is the id, which is just looking for physical pleasure, and specifically sexual pleasure. And he made a revolution. He said, no, there's more to life than sex. There's more to life than physical pleasure. And it actually, if you really want to be happy, so it's about meaning. It's about doing something. And that's really the only thing that's going to satisfy you. So it's huge that he made this revolution, the way that the world looks at what a human being is all about. That's why there's a whole story. The Lubavitcher Rebbe was very supportive of him, and he sent him a message, and he reported that the Lubavitcher Rebbe sent him a message that he shouldn't give up. And anyway, so this is really the first element. The first element of Zrizus is to counteract Atzlut, and the Atzlut is this energy that wants us just to do nothing and just to look for physical pleasure. So now, the second reason, and the second reason why we miss opportunities, is because we think that what's the big deal? I'm just pushing it off. Like I'm sure the opportunity will still be there when I'm ready, right? And so this is also a very toxic, destructive mistake to think. And the Torah tells us about this in the mitzvah of Pesach. It says that we learn from matzah that ushmata mesamatzes, that mitzvah habaliyotcha al tachmitzana, that if you have an opportunity, al tachmitzana uses the word chametz when it uses about procrastination. And so why does it use the word for chametz, for procrastination? Because we see a very fascinating thing in the making of matzah, and that is that matzah, if you know that there's a halacha, there's rules that you have to do it very quickly. And if you don't do it quickly enough, then it becomes chametz. And so chametz is not just that you can't use it for a mitzvah. It becomes something that you're not allowed to eat. It becomes something which is navera. It's a zamish, it's like the worst thing you could do on Pesach is to eat bread. And what's bread? Bread is just that you didn't do it quick enough. You thought that you could take your time. You thought that like the oven isn't going anywhere. What's your rush? Let's just like chill out. and so the like chametz teaches us that no, that like right now this is your opportunity. The opportunity is not going to be here forever. There's a story that I always tell. I don't know if I'm allowed to quote him as a source anymore, but Bill Gates, that somebody was that he was once he was once being interviewed by some I don't know, like some television show, and they asked him the like what's your secret? What's like how do you succeed to become a billionaire? And so he takes out his checkbook, and he says here, I'll write you. Let me write you a check. Like how much? You tell me how much you want. I'll write you a check. And like it was on live TV, and so like she was embarrassed, like she got flustered, and she said like no, like it doesn't look good. I don't know what to say. So he says okay. So he starts putting it back, and he starts saying it's really a shame. You could have been the richest broadcaster in the entire U.S. You could have just quit your job, and like she realized what she had done, and she said, "Oh, no, sorry, okay, no, I'll do it." I said, "No, opportunities don't come twice." And like this was his message to her. Like you want to know what the secret of my success is? The secret is that when an opportunity comes, so just jump on it. Like and don't, if you're going to push it off, then you're going to lose. And this is really what he was saying was that the greatest thing, the greatest difference in what it means to succeed in life is just it's just about taking opportunities. It's just about having the courage and the willpower to say yes. And so the first thing is that to get rid of this myth that it's not going anywhere, that we can take our time and it's still going to be there. Tony Robbins has this thing that he says you should ask yourself how much is this going to cost me if I continue with this behavior for the next 10 years? If I'm pushing things off, I guess with getting out of bed it's a little bit intense, right? But like if I'm pushing off like writing a book, I'm pushing off putting my house together, I'm getting that degree that's going to allow me to put my career into the place I want, pushing off asking a person to marry. What if I push this for 10 years? What's going to happen? And like what's the loss? Then you'll see how tragic, how destructive this behavior is, because like you think that it's only a couple of seconds, it's only a couple of minutes, but like there's no difference, nothing's going to change in 5 minutes. So if you just continue with this, then you'll see how costly this decision is, how costly this procrastination is. Which really brings us to the next point. That I think that the third reason why people miss opportunities is because they live with a certain myth, and this is the myth of waiting for being in the mood. Okay? And this is the reason why most people don't do things that when the opportunity strikes is because they're waiting to be in the right state of mind. They're waiting for things to be exactly like that. They're excited to do it, and so physiologically this is a mistake, because the fact is that once you start doing something, so then that's when the dopamine kicks in, and like nobody's excited to do something before you do it, and it's really just a lie that we tell ourselves, that like I'll do it when I'm in the mood, because you're going to be in the mood once you do it, and this is something that I mentioned before, the Stipler, that he was that he was okay with davening at 8 in the morning. Somebody once wrote him a letter that he wishes he could learn more, but but he feels like he's just not. He's not excited. He's not excited about learning. And Stepler writes back to him that you should know, if I would wait until I was excited before I would learn, so then I would have remained a utter ignoramus. He said I would be an amaretz. I would be a complete amaretz. If I would only have learned when I'm in the mood to learn, I would, to this day, I would know absolutely nothing. Meaning, basically, he was saying that you look at me and you see somebody that knows the entire Shas, Be'in, and you're like with great depth, and like I'm like everybody wants to know what I have to say about everything, any particular element in Judaism, and so you look at me and you think, oh, he probably just loves it. That no, sorry to burst your bubble. Like I'm almost never in the mood to learn. It's almost like it's. That's like it's so validating. His secret to success was not that he was waiting to be in the mood, because he wasn't in the mood, and like he just did it even though he wasn't in the mood, even though he was tired, even though he was like not interested. Just that he had the willpower to say that this is what I want to do right now. I'll do it, and then I'll be in the mood. And this is something that the Mesilas Yesharim writes, that it's basically an element of fake it till you make it. That if you're going to wait until you're in the mood, so then you're never going to be in the mood. Whereas if you do it before you're in the mood, then you're going to get in the mood. Because the fact is that once you start doing something, so then you get excited. Like, I don't know, I have this, like, in some very, like freezing winter, winter months, that it's, like, we're just getting out of bed. Like, you have, like, you don't want to get out of the cover, because it's just, and just you suddenly you push off getting out of bed just because of that initial feeling of discomfort when you're going to get out of bed, and like you feel so dumb after as soon as you stand up, you feel so dumb. Why did this take me 45 minutes? Like I really could have had this exact experience 45 minutes. I didn't get any more rest out of these 45 minutes. It was, and it's just, I was waiting to be in the mood, and like, believe it or not, 45 minutes later, I still wasn't in the mood. I just did it anyway. So like, you feel so dumb that you could have done this 45 minutes earlier. So this is what Mesilas Yesharim writes, that if you just do it, so then you'll be excited. And like, if you're going to wait until you're excited, then you're never going to find that time. Whereas if you do it, despite the fact that you're not excited, then it's just going to come. Okay, so that's the third element. Now, the fourth element, the fourth thing that causes us to miss opportunities is, and this is something that the Mesilas Yesharim also talks about, is different anxieties, different fears. He talks about it in the more simplistic way. He's basing himself on the psukim in Sefer Mishlei, that the lazy person he'll always have excuses. He'll always have excuses why he doesn't want to go out of the house. So the Shlomo Melech writes that he'll say that there's a robber out there, maybe there's a bear out there, and in Mishlei he talks about like more like simplistic kinds of fears. But I think what he's saying is really something which is very relevant, that the biggest thing that's holding us back is we have different anxieties. And so our anxieties are not bears and are not robbers, but I hope. But we also have our fears. I think our biggest fear is failure. Like I'm not going to do this because what if it doesn't work and I'm going to feel like a failure. And there's a converse kind of fear that apparently this is mistakenly quoted by Nelson Mandela, but it's really not from him. It's really from this American author named Mary Ann Williamson, that our greatest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our greatest fear is that we are powerful beyond comprehension. And it's a fear of amazing success, and fear what am I going to do if I'm going to be world famous? What am I going to be? What's going to be? And if you think about it, it's a real thing. It really is a real thing. And but I think that there's a more, at least for me, I think that I certainly deal with those first two fears, the first two fears. But I think for me, the greatest fear that holds me back whenever I'm procrastinating is fear of being overwhelmed. And this is something that I'm Baruch Hashem, I have a lot going on in my life, and I'm able to hold this equilibrium of not going crazy. And I think to myself, if I have one more thing in my to-do list, then I'm just going to lose it. And it could be the most simple thing. It could be just like making a phone call, not even a confrontational phone call. Just like I have this fear that like if I have one more thing in my schedule, I will have a mental breakdown, and it's an irrational fear. It's an irrational fear, but I think it's real, and this is something that really holds us back from adding things to our schedule by saying yes. It holds us back from saying yes to opportunities. It holds us back from taking steps in the right direction. And so what is really what's the solution for this? What is the antidote for this fear of overwhelmingness? So this is something that I saw this in a bunch of places, that there's a sefer that the truth is I was quoting from him before, even though I didn't mention his name. There's a sefer called Chovat HaTalmidim. Chovat HaTalmidim is a sefer from the Piasetzner Rebbe, and Rav Chaim Kol Shapiro, Zechron Livracha. It was called in the Holocaust, and so he's the one who really puts it down that there's that the trait of laziness and the trait of doing everything sluggishly is really two different traits. Okay, that's like that I took from him, and when he talks about this second trait, what he calls mitrapeh, from the word rafeh. Rafeh means to do things weak. It means to do things without excitement. So he quotes from a pasuk that gam ish misrapeh achu lebal mashchis. He's the brother of the destructive person. I mean, like, to do everything sluggishly. So you're not actually doing anything horrible, but you're the brother of the guy who does horrible things. Because you're doing. He says it's even harder to heal, because like a person that literally stays in bed all day, so he knows that that's not a way to do anything. But if you do everything, you just do everything sluggishly. You do everything without excitement. You do everything like with cutting corners. You do everything just like without exerting your mind, without exerting your body. So then nobody can really catch you. And you're going to be a complete failure in everything you do, and nobody's ever going to say anything. So you're the brother of the destructive person. So he says that why is a person sluggish? A person is sluggish because they're scared of this big feeling of overwhelmingness, like to put myself completely in it. So he says that what's the solution? The solution to this feeling of overwhelming is to make it into baby bites. Make it into bite-sized pieces of work. To tell yourself, okay, like what am I going to do from 9 to 10? What am I going to do from 10 to 11? Like how much time do I think that it should take me to accomplish this? And that's it. I think because if I say, okay, now I'm going to go back to work on cleaning my house, and like clean my house. Oh no, like clean my house. That's overwhelming. That's so much. It's such a big mess. And like so, if you think of it as a big thing, then it's going to overwhelm you. So stop thinking about the whole thing. Just think. Like right now, the only thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do this one room, and this one room is going to take me 20 minutes. Okay, 20 minutes is something you can deal with. 20 minutes, right? It's like once you gave it a definition. Once you gave it a time zone, and you gave it you defined how much work you're doing, so that's something that you can swallow. That's something that's not going to overwhelm you. If you say that, okay, I'm going to know the entire Shas, I'm going to, so like it's like that is a thought that's going to overwhelm you. So what do you do? Don't say I'm going to do it. Think about what am I going to do for the next 10 minutes. Like think about how much would I like to do by the end of the hour, like make it into really, really bite-sized things, and you know there's another thing that can help us to this feeling of overwhelmingness is that tell yourself that I can stop if I want to. Like I'll just do this for 5 minutes, and after 5 minutes, so if it doesn't work, so then I'll stop. I'll go back to sleep. Okay, I'm never going to get out of bed as long as my feeling is that this is something there's something scary. So I say, okay, it's not so scary because I'm just going to try. And I'm not promising myself that I'm actually going to do this. I'm just going to try. So a person that has like a lot of lists and like a lot of things to do list and say, okay, the list is so long, so then it's overwhelming to even look at the list. So you say, okay, I'm not going to do the list today. We're just going to do one thing. Okay? And this is people who are trying to get a job. So like it's like getting a job is a huge stress. It's a huge weight on a person. Like because like there's so much involved in getting a job. And so what do? You break it down to like I'm going to make 2 phone calls a day. I can do 2 phone calls. Like that's like I'm not promising myself that I'm going to get the job. I'm just going to try to like send out my resume to 2 places. That's something like if you do 2 phone calls a day for enough days, you're going to have a job. Okay? But it's so much easier to deal with. It's so much less overwhelming to think about just making 2 phone calls than to get a job. So this is the way that we are able to fight this feeling of overwhelming, is simply to make it bite-sized. Okay? To know that it's in our power to cut down our goals into something that we're actually able to do.
How can we fight the first feeling of anxiety?
The anxiety of overwhelming comes from the fact that you're picturing the goal.
Sorry, of failure, sorry.
Oh, you just have to do it. Because the way that we overcome the fear of failure is to know that failure is the only way to come to success. That there's no such thing as succeeding without failure. To realize that the failure is not actually there's no such thing as failure. Basically, there's no such thing as failure. That like the only way that anybody succeeds. Like I brought like different stories in the past. Like Thomas Edison, that before he discovered the light bulb, so he had 800 different models that didn't work. Okay, that means 800 different failures that he could have told himself. That there's a story about Colonel Sanders with the Kentucky Fried Chicken, that he offered, like he went to hundreds of different restaurants that told him this is such a bad recipe, you're never going to do anything, and then the only reason why he made it is because like he just allowed himself these rejections and eventually got to the goal. So the way to overcome the fear of failure is to realize that there's no such thing as failure. That failure is simply a step towards success. Yeah? Okay, so now the last point. I want to close with going back to the Mesilas Yesharim writes that the second part of Atzlus, of Zrizus, I'm sorry, the second part of Zrizus is not to miss opportunities, but the second part is once you already started, to have the stamina to keep on going. Okay, and this is a certain Zrizus to not stop in the middle. So where does this come from? Where does this come from? So the truth is that he explains that the reason why a person stops in the middle is because they lose their momentum, and the reason why they lose their momentum is because of a very spiritual thing, and that is that there's something in our existence, something in our soul, which comes from afar, it comes from dust, it comes from earth, and it's heaviness. That the thing that takes away our momentum is energy in the world of afar, which holds us down, which just keeps us in our space. And there's something that the Baal Tanya writes about, that he says that Atzlut and Atzvut are really very connected. That depression and heaviness go together. They're like the same energy that keeps us in bed, the same energy that wants us to go back to bed, that wants us not to finish. That's the same energy of depression, because it's this midat afar, it's this energy of dust, of heaviness is holding us down, that is not allowing us to continue. So really, this understanding that there's something in the creation, there's something in our very fabric of existence that is holding us away from excitement, is not allowing us to be amazed with life, not allowing us to just be always full of energy. So it's something which is there, and so the mere awareness of the fact that it's part of the reality and it's meant for us to overcome. So this is really like half the battle, to know that it's normal, and so the truth is that the way that we overcome this afar is simply by practice, is simply by mind over matter. And the more that we make these little micro victories and just telling ourselves that yes, I'm going to do this, I'm going to overcome it, I'm going to make these like small decisions, these bite-sized successes. So then that is how I'm going to overcome this element, this energy inside of me, which is holding me down. And to understand that I don't want to be the dead person. I don't want to be the person that's just bored of life. That we have energy inside of us which is fiery, and we want to connect with that element of fire. And it's part of life that we have this element of earth inside of us, which is ruining our lives and just taking away all of the excitement and taking away all of our energy. And to be aware of the fact that there is this inner battle going on. So basically, if a person comes to you and says like, I'm just bored from life. I'm just not excited. So first of all, tell them that you need rehab. But after you're already clean, after like the issue, I'm just heavy. I'm just heavy. I'm not excited about life. So the secret is simply just actions. Don't wait until you're in the mood. Just do it. And the more that you do it, the more the dopamine will come, the more that you make a proactive decision that I want to be excited. Now this is, and I will say that you have to be careful about this. Like I know people that they're like, it's very clear that their energy is forced. That there's like, Rabbi Kilstein, how are you? And like, okay, like calm down. It's okay. Like, how many coffees did you have today? And like, so we try to ask your friends, like, do I sound normal when I wish you good morning? But it's okay. You don't have just because you feel like you're allowed to sound a little bit more excited than you actually are, and that it actually will make a difference. It actually will make a difference. And so I bless us all that we should be able to master life and to be excited about life and to overcome all of the stuff that's holding us down, and to recognize that we only live once, and like the only way that we're going to really to do all the things that are going to make life worth living is only if we're going to be excited. And so to be aware of the fact that it's in our power. That we're not waiting for the excitement to come. We're owning our state of mind, and we're bringing ourselves to a state of excitement. And B'ezrat Hashem, that the more we fake it, the more we're going to make it. B'ezrat Hashem.